The sea holds secrets. Every wave tells a story. Pull up a seat, feel the roll of the deck, and join us for another captivating chapter of Tales from the Ship. I'm Captain Dan, and my first mate, Steph, joining us on the bridge.
Ahoy!
Also joining us today is my good friend, Ben.
Okay.
Welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome aboard. Ben, why don't you tell the crew a little bit about yourself, and don't be shy. Feel free to speak up, speak into the mic.
Sure. When it comes to, especially this podcast, I guess the main topic would definitely be cruising for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when it comes in regards to cruising, I've been on a few different ships, but obviously, some of the ones that I end up enjoying a little bit the most usually was hanging around friends and everything else like that. Most of the time, the cruises that I ever went on that I kind of found the least amount of joy on, I wouldn't necessarily say would be a company. It would probably be more with the people I'd be traveling with. And in that context, I would say probably like family. Because anybody who ever has traveled with family in general is one thing. But cruising with family is, boy, howdy, is it an event? And when I say it's an event, I mean, it's most people probably listening to this probably get it. Nothing's more fun than going on a ship and being like, yeah, I can't wait to be in party relaxation mode. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I totally forgot. At 5 o'clock, I gotta leave whatever I'm doing so I can go hang around my family who have also been ghosting each other all day and come around and be like, hey, I'm glad to see you for dinner. After this, I am not going to see you on the ship, hopefully. And if we run into each other, we're just going to act like complete awkward strangers. It is the weirdest thing in the world to see your own mother or father and treat them as almost like you haven't seen them in like a month for like an estranged friend that's like slept with your other best friend and be like, hey, it's great to see you. And it's just, it's weird. And then you all sleep in the same room sometimes. In my context, a lot because we were poor.
That's totally fair. Honestly, I've always looked at it a little bit differently. We agree to all meet for dinner, but when we do meet for dinner, it's like, oh my god, I feel like I haven't seen you in years, and it's just been a day. But it's been a long day, and I did so much stuff. What did you do today? You tell me. You go first. Oh my god. Well,
I'm a big fan of cruising with my family, so.
Yeah, but your family also fucking rules.
That's fair.
Yeah, see, mine was always the, family of 3 boys. And it was really, again, sharing the same room, right? So it was trying to line up with like, a kind of a process and who had time to be able to have the cabin, which, is not for sleep. Because
yeah, how old were you last time you cruised with the Carter family?
I was an age.
Were you
like that?
Were you of age?
I was 18. Was the last time I went out there. So a
and
lot
the three
of
you shared a room.
Yeah.
So you and your brother had this like. What
Yeah,
did you guys?
well,
did you guys have like an Excel sheet?
well,
like I
like-
get the room from this time, so fuck off.
Yeah, what kind of like when I describe 3 boys, I mean like the age gap difference couldn't have been more awkward. Like my older brother's 5 years older than me, right? So you're talking a 23-year-old staying with us in one room.
23 and 18's a party.
And then you a 16-year-old, which is the other.
Still sounds like you guys could have had a lot of fun.
We definitely had a set schedule on who had it. And of course, through the end of the ship, it was trying to dodge the people we spent time with throughout the cruise, because each one of us had completely separate secret lives. I'm pretty sure like my older brother was I don't know, some kind of accountant at some point. At another point, he was already like he was some kind of high up military person, which he wasn't. He did eventually join the military, to be fair, but at that time he was not, which was kind of a process. And my little brother was always older than he really was, which is hysterical because, you know, he has the body still of probably like a 12-year-old child.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
Can vouch.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it sounds like you might have stories of your pre us being friends days to tell, but the general point of this show is, you know, hit us with your best, most heartfelt, worst, craziest, your most whatever cruise ship story.
I mean, well, we're already on the topic, so, you know, again, pre-cruise time, most of the stories you guys know, which I can share a little bit later as is, you know, if we get a little bit of time for it, but I might as well share a little bit of, you know, beforehand, because some people probably, as they're hearing, probably had earlier cruise events, especially as like a teenager. A lot of the ones that I had beforehand were, again, we were Florida residents. We could, you know, jump on a cruise ship. It was great, you know. But the first time I ever went cruising, which was probably the eye opener on like what cruises were, and kind of always insinuated it. It was basically a way to constantly hook up with somebody, and everybody lied about so much. It was absurd.
Yes. I've also told people I was a secret agent on assignment on a cruise ship.
Well, so the easiest example of this one. So first cruise I ever went on, I was 14, right? And I go on there, and first of all, I lied. I said I was 16. First lie.
As you do.
Yeah. Because again, I could hang out with the 16-year-old crew, which was, you know, what I was trying to go for and everything else like that. My older brother giving me like the How to Train Your Dragons thumbs up, you know, meme, as I'm going over there trying to make friends with these, because most of them are all girls. And while I'm talking to all of them, there is one in particular who we really hit it off. She was very, what's the, how PG is this chat?
Well, since you're telling a story of when you were a minor, PG.
Okay, fair enough. She was more promiscuous than other people were. So, obviously, as you know...
Was she also a minor?
I never actually figured that out.
So you were both lying about your age?
Yes, definitely. I think she was older, but she lied about being younger in a weird way, which probably set the tone for most cruise events I had, to be real. But anyway, so we end up hitting it off and everything else like that. We had a good time and spent a lot of time with each other, and went back and forth, and I got to meet some of her friends, and it was a whole great event, only to find out at the very end, when she was, you know, right before we left and everything else, I was like, hey, like, you want to exchange numbers or something? Because, you know, this is a great old time. And she's like, yeah, so here's the thing. I have a boyfriend back home. She's like, shows me her phone, and she, you know, sure enough, first photo that's on there, which I'm like, yeah, you know, you're a cruise. You don't see your phone anyway. So, you know, there's that.
Especially back then.
She's like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. He's in the military, and I'm all about him, and I'm crazy about him, and we're going back home, and, you know, I can't wait to see him and everything else like that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's great. And all I could think of back that in my head was that poor dude.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Does the area code rule apply on cruises?
Well,
Do cruise ships have an area code?
Well, like a cruise story should end, she literally jumped inside of a limo with like the rest of her family and drove off. And I was like, okay, that was...
Who the fuck gets a limo for leaving a cruise?
You can't... Yeah.
Those fucking
That
people,
was-
apparently.
We got a limo. My first cruise, we got a limo
Going to it,
to go to the ship.
Yeah, no, but exiting a ship.
But leaving the ship, it was like, okay, you're on your own. Get an Uber.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Wow. That's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
You're a terrible person.
It was also the first time I really got to like actually dance with a girl.
Oh no.
Yeah. My first dance
I've
with a
seen
girl.
you dance. You were at my wedding.
You make that sound like it's bad.
It's not good.
What are you talking about? It got way better.
That was better?
Now it's better.
Okay.
I got a story of good dancing.
But this story is when you were 14.
Yeah, true.
So,
I mean, okay, when I say 14, I mean, I'm talking, again, this is, what, man, or mid 2000s.
16 years ago.
Yeah,
2011.
yeah. Anyway, 2011. So apple bottom jeans was on.
So you were breaking your knees.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, 2009.
2009. That's 30.
Yeah, it's still 2009, 16 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Man, I was in college when that came out.
Yeah, she probably was too.
Yeah, her boyfriend was a Marine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that that really says anything about her age.
Yeah.
Did she smell like crayons?
She smelled like something.
Family breath.
Well, that was a fun one. That was kind of a traumatic story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like good ones? I mean, we've taken cruises together. You've taken cruises as an adult, right?
Yeah, no, I mean
obviously.
they got better.
Yeah,
all
I
right,
mean,
like it's they got dramatically
you were
better.
either with your wife or your friends or both.
Well,
I think you should tell the crew. That's what we call the audience.
Mhm.
Anyone who's listening to this, they're the crew. There's a few of them now. Tips and tricks. You have an excellent tip or trick or strategy with cruising that I think you should elaborate. The single brain cell trick. I need you to go in depth on that and tell the crew how the brain cell trick works.
well, it probably goes the hand in hand with, like you said, it's the first one didn't sound great, like offhand, which ended up helping me develop certain tricks and tips, especially while I go on a cruise. So I would heavily advise this to most people, especially if you're going on a cruise with friends, and definitely with friends. With family, you could probably do it depending on your relationship with them. Again, my relationship with my family is probably different than what you have, as to each their own. But
Talk about your dad rules.
yeah, my dad's awesome. I could brain cell with him all day long. And to get that reference, this is what brain selling means. If you are with a group of people and you are on a cruise, traditionally they have these things called drink packages. And while you participate in this drink package, you end up learning that making competent decisions isn't necessarily easy. And one of the fun things about cruising is not having to make a decision, which is an excellent way to invoke the rule of the brain cell, which the brain cell is whoever has a cognitive thought that is an idea. It doesn't have to be a good idea, but it's an idea. They are referred to as the brain cell. And at that point, whatever that person says they are doing, which doesn't necessarily mean that one person is the leader, the brain cell can transfer to whomever has an idea at that point. So once they have the idea, they become the brain cell. So for example, if I was participating in the drink package and Dan was participating in the drink package, and Stephanie was participating in the drink package, if Dan presented, hey, we are going to go golfing on the top deck, we would immediately refer to as the brain cell, and we would go golfing. And as we were up there, Stephanie says, water sounds great. We would look at Stephanie and say, the brain cell. We'd go get water. And then after getting water, I say, ice cream sounds fantastic because ice cream, right? Brain cell. Continue going. And you move as a group because what that allows you to do is this fun option of while you're all with each other, one, you all look after each other, right? Which is great. But on two, while you guys are going around and each one of you is being a brain cell, you kind of get to feel like a captain and a follower. So for those who make a lot of decisions in their daily life, this lets you let go, which for me is massive. I don't want to make decisions, which is huge. And for those who feel like they're kind of like the peon at work, they can be the Braincell. And it's pretty great because you get a group of people who just mob mentality, whatever you do.
So if I'm clocking this correctly, you just sit back and whenever someone's like, hey, we should do this, you immediately and enthusiastically agree with it and go do it.
Yes, you are all one mind.
Don't leave room for someone else to have an opinion. Just, if there's an idea, we'll go do it.
Correct.
The next opinion will take place after this thing that we're doing right now.
And cruise decisions become epically more fun. And that's where the adventures, the stories begin. And again, the first story, like I said, that one was before I figured out this trick. After I figured out this trick, the stories started rushing in. And now I have an abundance of them, which are just filled with fun and joy. And I love cruising more than anything because, again, I get to be, or not be, the Braincell.
Yeah, I'm well aware of this Braincell theory, right? Because we've cruised a lot together, and most of the time I'm the one with the cognitive thought, based on the fact that I don't really drink. But it's always fun to like just watch the group yell one Braincell and walk away. That is definitely one of my favorite things. I mean, we did it on this last cruise too, between the four of us that we were on.
Oh, with your parents?
Yeah, just one Braincell.
Yeah, but it was me and your dad sharing a Braincell.
Yeah.
And, you were there or not. And your mom, she was just a follower. She just refused. She let go and let Poseidon. She just didn't want to make a decision at all.
No.
Like, I'm just, whatever you guys do, I'm going to follow behind you.
Yeah.
So same kind of thing. I really like this method too, because with our friend group, as you're aware, it's sometimes really exhausting just getting to do a thing of any kind.
It takes like 45 minutes to do anything.
Yeah, which
It takes
is
45 minutes to get started doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
You got to decide what to do, and then you got to rank. It's like herding cats.
Yeah.
Again, the best selling feature that I use, and again, this is one of those that, when you're on a cruise, you're locked in with each other, but you're in this best, awesome setting. And again, drink package does a lot to this setting.
Yes.
But as you guys said, like traveling as a group, especially, that is, again, when you travel with a group of friends, you will either learn to love or hate each other, or both at certain points. And a really good way to break tension, to make decisions easy, just to have a blast and have fun is, again, invoke the Braincell rule, which is all of a sudden the 45-minute argument of saying, hey, what are we going to do? And everything else like that. Let's go over to the bar. Let's go enjoy our lovely drink package that we have. And then in about, a few drinks, or maybe one or two, somebody says, hot tub sounds great. And boom, Braincell. And it starts from there and it rolls.
Now, can you Braincell if you don't have a drink package?
Yes.
If you're paying for your drinks, because you're rich and you ball like that, or you're on a cruise line that doesn't offer drink packages or a worthwhile drink package.
Well, I mean, it's, again, I personally choose to go with drink package. But if you don't, and that's like your forte, again, my wife and Stephanie, perfect examples. They can participate in Braincell all day long. And like Stephanie was saying, sometimes just watching the actual event itself is so much fun. Or just, if all of you don't drink, you can still invoke this rule, which is fun. A really good example of this is if you want to see real life Braincell theory in real life, watch Teenagers. They do that.
They do, but it's usually the same person who's making the call, and everybody else is like, oh yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great idea.
Correct. Yeah, just basically do that, except understand that you're all adults. And because you're adults, you don't have to act necessarily like children. you can just invoke kind of what they do and just say, hey, put the ego down, let everybody kind of just be a brain cell at some point. Or you can either take turns, you can not take turns. It's really however you really want to do it. That's the joy of it.
So it's whatever size group you are, everyone's just sharing the one brain cell.
Yeah.
I like it. I've done it before.
Hive mind.
Hive mind.
Hive mind.
Ooh, hive mind. That's a good one.
That's what it is.
Where's your ship puns? There should be a nautical ship pun for this.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a girls' night thing, you can make it like, Queen Bee. You could do however you want.
School.
It was like, yeah, school.
We're schooling.
School of thought.
We're schooling.
Yeah.
From now on, we're schooling.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I don't ask me. I'm schooling.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I was going to say school of thought, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Like a fish.
Yeah.
I'm
just
schooling.
It's like a fish.
That's a good one.
Fishies.
Well, excellent. I mean, I can't really add to this more than I already have because I've taken part in it, but
Do you have any other tips and tricks as somebody who's been on cruises that are international or from Caribbean cruises? Anything good besides always use a travel agent? I have to add it in there.
well, yeah, always use a travel agent.
Particularly,
It's free.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing, and you get a better booking experience.
Like I said, it's I was family's Florida ones, so we did a lot of Florida ones. Friends, again, we kind of go all over. But I am an international traveler, so I've been on other cruises that don't just start from one destination and go to another. We actually flew over to other destinations and went on larger cruise lines, which when we went on those larger cruise lines, we went to places like Norway, Estonia, Germany, Finland, Sweden, even Russia. So it's,
St. Petersburg?
Yeah, St. Petersburg. So it was, if there was, which nice little trick, if you're trying to go to certain countries and, you're looking at going to visas and your real big thing is just you want to go see that country. Cruises are an excellent way to do that.
They are.
Without having to go through that whole process. And I say that as somebody who, again, is also an international traveler, even besides cruise lines themselves. And cruise lines are way easier and way more fun. And again, you can have that kind of mentality. On top of the fact that when you meet other people of from different countries and different nationalities, like their big thing is they will either stick with you and have a blast, or they'll just immediately be like, you're not my cup of tea, and kind of move on. But when you're on an international cruise, a really nice tip is when you're looking at trying to find people to hang out with, because I get that question a lot. They're like, I want to go on an international cruise, but I don't want to be the only person that speaks Spanish or English or German or anything, right? And usually one of the things I try to tell them is, please make sure you check in with one of the desk people, because one of the first thing you should do is let them know, hey, like, this is my language, this is what I speak. Is there a table? Is there somewhere I can be near where it opens up an opportunity to meet those people? And all it takes is that interaction. And then again, once you get that interaction, invoke the brain cell rule. And right there, you will have people that on the cruise, which is really great, especially when you go to another country of wherever you're going to go for that day. And at that point, you can be in that country and you can see those people that you met on that cruise, and you kind of just join forces and it becomes a riot. And then before you know it, you have international friends. And that is kind of a fun thing to have, especially when you're just talking to people. It definitely opens up doors and allows you to network a little bit and just enjoy yourself.
Cruise friends are the best friends.
Honestly, I never thought about that. Running the really, if you and I are just on a cruise together.
You don't need any other friends.
Huh?
You don't need any other friends.
Fuck you. No, just like random people you end up at dinner with, or that really cool couple that we ended up at a table with at Gun Bay.
Oh
on
yeah,
our
the
first
couple
Virgin
from
cruise.
Nashville. They were super cool.
We could have just braincelled with them.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, what are you guys doing after this? Cool. Can we join you?
Yeah. But it was new. Virgin was new to us. We wanted to explore.
Yeah, I get that, but we could have also explored while just following two random people around. Be like, yo, that sounds fun. Can we join you? That sounds fun.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
That actually it never occurred to me to do that with strangers.
We could have done it with those 3 couples on the Davina cruise we went on that hated us.
You know, they braincelled without us.
They did.
Yeah, the 2 beautiful people. They had a drink package.
They were sharing their
They had
drinks.
like the premium platinum plus drink package, and they were just throwing drink vouchers at everyone else but
Super
us.
ultra diamond. They
'Cause
hated us.
We stopped going to dinner.
We stopped going to dinner because they were mean to us. All right.
I mean, yeah, but it was like side mean to us.
Beautiful people are people too. Sometimes they are.
It was
Any-
more
any-
than just,
any-
it was
anybody
more
can
than
be-
just the beautiful couple. There was 2 other couples.
I mean,
that
it
were
was
all dicks to us.
it was really just the Canadians.
And again, that's where it comes down to. Like I said, I hear the stories a lot, and it comes down to it. And they're like, well, how do you meet these other people? I'm like, the first thing I do is I go down to one of the desks or director or anybody that I can talk to, and be like, hey, I really want to like socialize with these people. It's gonna have fun. Or you can again just introducing yourself. Those people have the itinerary. They have the listing. Most people will put down or jot something about themselves, and that little bit of info sometimes again can help branch where friends are. Either that or it's a needle in a haystack situation where you're trying to find them, and then it leads to stories like that where you're saying, that worked, that didn't work, we met them at one point and then they kind of just left and all that. Again, you're on a cruise. You don't have to necessarily make it this massive task to do it. That's kind of half the fun to it, is there's literally a desk that can help you with that.
Oh, they already did their work on this particular cruise.
Yeah, in the sea, when you would sit with strangers at dinner, they would take what language you spoke and everything, and they would put you with people that spoke that language and about your same age, so that you would sit with people of like your demographics. But we got stuck with 3 couples who were all very, very successful, and we were not. And they talked down to us, and they were dicks to us for about 2 nights, and then we stopped going to dinner.
Well, then that's
To be fair, it was mostly me, because I'm a very lowbrow individual, and they were very, very keen to point that out and shun my lowbrow nature.
Well, I mean, Captain Dan, and the real term to this is still tracking back to the very first thing. You can be anybody you want on the cruise.
Yeah, we decided after that cruise that we would make up fake personalities, and then we just never did.
No, that's because
We did cruise for a little bit.
because I don't give a shit.
That's fair.
I'm Captain Dan, bitch.
Story.
That's that.
Now we don't need a story.
Yeah,
Now
but
we're
I
cool.
will forever be introducing myself as Captain Dan
Oh my god.
to randos on cruises.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, I feel like going forward, if I meet a new person, and like, oh, whatever your name is, not important. I'd be like, oh, cool, I'm Captain Dan. They're like, oh, I thought that voice and tonality and inflection sounded familiar. I listen to your podcast.
I mean, yeah, that's the goal. Is
Yeah.
We want.
So when I say, hey, I'm Captain Dan, and they'll be like, oh my god, I've heard you say exactly that in exactly that tone before.
We should get shirts that say I'm Captain Dan on First Mate stuff. And if they're like, what does that mean? Then we can tell them.
No, I already have a shirt. It says, poor choices make great stories.
Okay, but that does not help with what we're doing. It's with
Sure
the
it does.
shirt.
We're here to hear people's stories.
Oh, okay. Whatever you say, Captain Dan.
Do what I
That's
do.
right. Thank you, First Mate Steph.
You could still do what I do. I just walk up to just random people every now and then, which just, again, gives me that little bit of like euphoria as I do. And I just go, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you again. You doing good? You having fun? I know, right? I'll see you later. And then you walk away and you never see them again. And they are so confused.
I couldn't do that. I would want to drag it out as long as possible until they figured out that we haven't met. And they'd be like, wait a minute.
That is an option.
And then at that point, we've had such a good time for the past day and a half. Do they say anything?
No.
No. We've always been friends.
No.
This is now reality. I've incepted you.
You're just describing how we became friends.
No, we became friends by fate.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, excellent. We usually give our guests an opportunity. If you have any social media, online presence, or anything that the crew, if they fuck with it, they can look you up, contact you, get in touch with what you're doing. If you have anything, now's the time.
Is if anything, I will probably come on here at some other point, give a few more stories, because again, I've got enough of them. But until then, I'll just be notified as guest speaker Ben.
Guest speaker Ben. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ben. Your stories have brought us a lot of joy, and being a part of them has brought us even more joy. That's all for this episode of Tales from the Ship. Big thanks to our guest, Ben. We appreciate you tuning in, and thank you. Until next time, calm seas and clear skies.